enough was the theme that showed up this weekend, and it was fantastic. Like, enough already. And that's what it takes for us to get to a point where we actually have a really good look. Again, of course, the underlining theme was the nothing, but the nothing is an individual assessment of what truly is that place where in the nothing, life then takes place in its best of best processes. You know, we're talking emotionally, physically, nutritionally, spiritually. They all have cries of enough. And they hear differently. They all hear differently. And all of them showed up, and all of them were seen, because enough showed up. How good is that? So I'll be doing a couple of pictures this time to show the dynamics that showed up around this enough, and how we get played out, or how to play it out. All of that. So I was lucky enough to have a friend come stay, and of course we play, and the play is let's have a look, or whatever it is. And I mean, if you really look at yourselves, we are really awesome beings in how we hold the space, in how in a myriad of lifetimes or fresh, the being here is high mastery. And in many lifetimes lived, it can be implanted as to how others use and benefit, and how you end up playing a role that pulls you like a puppet in all directions because of the perceived usefulness, or the engagement one has with whatever that puppetry is, because it goes back a long way, and we do desire to bring the best, or to attempt to find resolution. But resolution is in ourselves, not out there. And that sense of enough showed up, and to get to that is the extraordinary ability to stop the story and make it nothing. Stop the story. And the card that came up this week is support, and the depth of support that comes when we drop the story. So the puppetry element showed up. Enough, stop. Like, I have a life of my own, and it's never their fault. I know in my own life, what helps me enormously is to say, I said yes to that. And then there is no outward blame. I said yes to that. I allowed it. I enabled it. Whatever it is, but it came from me. It's so much easier to handle, because then you make it nothing and you go next. And life goes on, and that support is there in the moving forward, if the desire for moving forward is there. So that led to someone desirous to sort this out. The enough showed up, but in the enough, it was seen that they wanted the partner to stop. They wanted the partner to get it. I have a saying in my room, which is, I can't go to the toilet and piss for you. some things we can, and thank God, we cannot do for another. It is for the other to digest, process, and come to see it. And a couple of the sessions this weekend were really ones of confirmation, because if you can't see it, you don't have it. And there are others who, because they feel so clearly on the inside that I have it, we just move forward until it arrives, because I have it. And it's this beautiful propulsion and trust in that nothingness that these elements come into being, and they do. So, this pattern showed up, and I'm hoping that this assists in some way if you recognize this pattern, because it's a cruel pattern. I see it as a cruel pattern, and it stops us from being present. So what showed up is, I'm here. And in the being here, it does essentially, whatever it is, needs to live in here for the pattern to show itself by default as an ever increasing element in your life, where it keeps compounding one way or another to the core of yourself, that gets to see how it works, how life can be lived. But what was showing up was, I'm here, but I want to be there. And then eventually, through hard work and all that sort of stuff, we want to be here. And then we want to be here, and then we want to be here. So you're never there. Remember last week we said you're already there. And once you get you're already there, it's an ever-expanding by default how life shows up in directions you can't fathom, because it isn't doing this. It's these elements show up in a way you can't even imagine, in a support that you cannot even see. But by being there and bringing it out, it then brings more and more and more inner capacity, because in having it on the inside and not necessarily seeing it on the outside, it takes a staying with and a trust and a knowing that this is a place shared with all the energies that combine with yours in the bringing it to you. So that was really good to see. And the interesting thing with this session was that we had a good laugh. Was at one point the energies from within her said, "Shh, don't tell her. Don't tell her." And it was a pretty big, again, it is if you don't see it, you don't have it. But it's like if you lose it and you get outward orientated, you can go into despair. And basically it was saying, don't tell her. She's got despair nailed. She's done it so many times, she's an expert at it, but don't tell her. So we had a laugh. The other picture I want to share with you see, I love when these show, because when they show, they show an ever deeper understanding of how to be in that present state. Yeah, when we're in that present state, there is no space, there is no time. It's like the all that we are exists in that moment. And then to observe, am I standing in the nothing that supports more than anything else? Or are there things I'm trying to achieve or go to, which takes us out of that zone? Because if you're in that extraordinary zone, more comes your way and expands itself in ways you cannot do by forcing or achieving or pushing. So what showed was a being, and this ended up shown twice actually over the weekend, and for many years, this incredible energy, it's like source itself channeling through this body in the delight and preciousness of what needed to come into the world, was continuously pouring through to the point that, you know, the spirit can be the bitch from hell that drives you to the extent of exhaustion, and it doesn't have time or space, so it can drive, it can take over, not a good thing. In fact, another being that I saw this weekend, it went to the 5-element chart, and basically it said, well, you're not even in that energy system anymore. You've dropped out. You are so burnt out. You haven't even got any of that anymore to make any choices, which was the enough that had to show up for this being to finally see it. Enough is fantastic. And in that, it was really easy then to see this needs to be in place. And that feeling that she was in the land of the living again showed up. So this energy can drive us. And at some level, we can't see it. It's like an addiction. We can't see it. We can't say enough. But when we finally see it, we can say enough. And what happened with this? So many projects, so many things that love to do. And this energy, it was like, enough. It can't keep coming from that direction. And what showed up was this wonderful, wonderful pattern that integrated and brought it to the being rather than just that whole source, bring it through connection. And then was able to establish what needed to be in place, what was enough, how do I address it? And interestingly enough, when that actually appears like that, then this energy comes in to support rather than drive and exhaust oneself. So someone else came in and they'd had enough. And I can understand it, because this is actually almost one of my favourite topics to a degree, where being in a relationship, there's usually one being that continuously makes it nothing. They make it nothing. And over time, they see that by making it nothing, eventually they get made of as nothing by the other party. Because if you keep making it nothing, eventually you become nothing. So the enough arrives. And with the enough, you can start to see what's out of place, what needs to be put in place so we can return to the nothing. And like the picture I just showed you before of that energy, it was so lovely to be able to look at an aspect and say, is there anything I need to alter here to make it nothing? What here do I need to have conditions around so that it is nothing, so that I can move forward joyfully in moving forward with that. So the enough is very, very valuable because it will tell you what it is that needs to be addressed. And in this situation, the immense generosity with all the things that needed to be handled weren't really factored into, and there was what I call a lack of primacy. When in a relationship, primacy takes place. And primacy is one of those things where you go to the partner and say, are you doing anything this weekend? Or have we got any plans this weekend? And if we say, yes, remember we said we'd go X, Y, Z or whatever it is, and then the other one says, oh yes, I forgot that, fine. I will not go and do what I just thought I might go and do. And other times it's like, do we have any plans? And then you go, well, no, not that I'm aware of. And go, well, so-and-so is invited and it'd be really nice to do X, Y, Z. And what's really great then is, yeah, go and enjoy, have a fabulous time. There is so much respect in primacy and so much freedom in privacy. And it isn't about, oh, I might hurt them if they feel I want to go away by myself. It's like, go and have a wonderful time. But it takes the primacy of that communication to really work out what works, what is the situation, and also if something out of whack, to actually say, you know what, that doesn't work for me anymore. There's no real sense of fairness or equity in it, and unless X, Y, Z, I can't keep making it nothing. So powerful. And so good in a relationship. And usually there is a putting up with for a while until the enough arises. So the enough is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Sometimes having to wait for a very, very long time for something to finally fall into place can be so wearing and exhausting that we feel like dropping out. We're just drained. There's nothing left to move forward in, or to desire, or to hope for, or it just drains one completely. And when that happens, support feels like it's gone. The feeling of that capacity to see the world as a playmate disappears. And what came here was, and I love this, it's an element of, you have to drop that. Difficult as it is, that must be made nothing of. And to go into the space of saying, show me. I'm worn out. I am worn out. It's beyond impossible. Show me. And I really enjoy the show me, because I reckon the energies know me better than me. And what shows up and what it reveals and what it presents is so much better than I could have made up myself. Show me. Play with show me. If you've had enough, then go, enough. Show me. And it will show you. It's great fun. So the card this week is support. Before I read this, there was a session where the mind was in a good place, the spirit's in a good place, very comfortable with self. But the necessity to move the physical body, the body starts to say enough. And that needs listening to as well. Move. It needs support. So support. Giving support and allowing support expands who you are. Do not see requiring support as failure. Ask for support when you need it, but do not abuse the support of others. You are an integral link in the chain of beingness. Everything and everyone is connected. Nothing works in isolation. Allow support to reinforce your strengths. Be encouraged to support yourself and your endeavours. Have fun, see what shows.